Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit View Time. Today we've got Great Wall Hobbies' latest release. This is a new tool, 1/48 scale F-14B Tomcat. So, little like buses, we didn't see any for a long time. Hasegawa was really the way to go, and now obviously Tamiya, Great Wall Hobbies, things like that have all really jumped onto it. So it's nice to see this one. Great Wall Hobbies, let's face it, they've got an eye for detail and they usually bring out some pretty good kits. So anyway, let's get into it. So you can see down here in the box, this box, I will tell you now, is really heavy. I don't know how heavy, but it is. You can see there's hardly any movement in that. It's absolutely rad. Nice little box art on the front as well. As you can see, you've got your three options down in here. So as you say, you've got the Final Cruise VF32. And obviously we've got one over here as well from 102, the Diamondbacks. Very nice as well, from March 2004, so it's getting near the retirement age of all of these. And then obviously we've got this one down in here from 101 as well, the Grim Reapers. So we got those ones as well. Very nice, different types of options. Down here on the box you can see kit number for this one, L4828. And again, as you can see, we get a nice bit of photo etch by the looks of it, all the way through. Huge decal sheets, as you might imagine, for all three in there, just like that. So inside the box, we are greeted by, and I said, I wasn't kidding when I said this thing is absolutely rammed. It is absolutely stuffed. So as you can see, we've got multi-part wings. So we've got slats and flaps and things like that, as you can see. And again, looks like we've got them positioned so they can be up and down. That looks very nice detail already. And as you might imagine, this is the gift that's going to keep giving it. Very modular. Looking at this, I was thought it might be like slip molded and all this type of thing, but apparently not. So we've got pylons and parts. And as you can see by the bag count, lots and lots. So obviously we are going to see different versions coming down the line because we've got the later engines down in here. We've got some Phoenix missiles, which are completely multi-part, so no slip moulding with them. Alright, usual sort of drop tanks, things like that. We've got tails, we've got missiles down in here as well, so I assume that obviously they're going to be Sparrows. And then again, intakes, various plates and things. So you can probably guess from this is not going to be a quick shake and bake type kit. This is going to be quite a build, to say the least. And again, we've got different bits for the engines. It's got a fully detailed engine. It's got a boarding ladder, instrument combing down in there. We've got intakes. To be honest, nothing jumps out at me that says this is anything groundbreaking and shattering, because it's pretty much how every other Tomcat on the planet has ever been put together. Small little tiny parts, bottom fuselage, gear, and more Phoenix missiles. Oh my god, they're a nightmare. Talk about go from one extreme to the other. Seats. Alright, then down in the bottom of the box here we are greeted by, bring this out of the way, we've got a box which hopefully has got the clear parts in it, which we do. So we've got clear parts down in there and canopy framing, so that's all nice and separate, which is nice. We'll look at that in a moment. We are also greeted by a bag with a couple of staples in it. I hate staples. It's like Tamiya. Purely because I end up getting stabbed by them. Alright, so down in here, if we whip these ones out, we are greeted by a very huge decal sheet, but also we've got a couple of bits of photo etch. We'll look at those properly in a moment. We've got weapons decal sheet. We've got instrument panel type sheets, external marking type decal sheet. So lots of decal sheets to look at. We'll look at that in a moment. We've also got two huge big colour profiles, which again we'll look at in 1 second. And we are okay, so right, okay, random way of doing it, I know, but there we go. So we're greeted down in here. If I just move this in just a little bit now, because the box was just stupidly huge. Alright, so we got a nice little sheet there for the box art, if you wanted to do that. We've actually got all your parts counts, as you can see, down in here, which just to give you an idea, so what we're talking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 sprues. So you've got 40 sprues in this. Crazy. And then obviously we've got what we've got, photo etch sheets down in there, and we've got some film as well, and we've got a little metal part somewhere to have a look at. So anyway, that'll keep you busy. Colour call outs, that's the easy bit. All right, so going into the old instructions. Sorry, camera's too tight now. There we go. All right, so on the old instructions itself, got the seats going together. Actually don't look too bad, some nice detail ones in that. And we've got some decals which can attach to the seat as well. Instrument panel, usual bits and pieces, pretty Tomcat-esque. Side panels as well, so we know we're going to see different versions of the Tomcat coming down, probably an A and a D, so that would be nice. And then obviously circuit breakers, things like that all being put in. And then pretty much standard so far going together. So you're working with the actual nose wheel well, which will be underneath the cockpit floor. And then, yes, lo and behold, they stick down to go together. We've got a refueling probe hole as well. We've got the actual void for that as well. So we're assuming there's a refueling probe going to go in here somewhere. And then again, two halves coming together with this one. It's got this little underneath plate as well going down in there. The belly plate being fitted and then finishing that off as well. And a nice little bit of photo etch going down in there. Nice to see we got a very broad, I've been talking about this, I do like this way of doing it, of a clear part. So that way it goes to the panels around, not around the actual clear part itself. This way, if you do get any fit problems, you can fill, sand, rescribe, re-rivet to your heart's content and not worry about ruining the clear part. So I just wish more model companies would do that, because that's definitely a lot easier from a modeler's point of view. We've got photo etcher going down in here with a film for the HUD, putting the HUD all together. We've got the radar, a little bit of foldy-woldy to do and all of that one and bend in there, but we actually get the OG9 radar system down into that one. And then obviously we've got the doors. Again, weirdo way of doing it. Why would you put the doors on there? Clearly you're not. All right the way through. And that completes off then the nose section. Moving on to the body, the normal type way of this one. So you are going to be sort of going through, opening up holes, and then it's quite modular. It's a complex design to do. I thought, to be honest, it might have moved on a little bit. And they might have done a little bit of slip molding, things like that in here, but they haven't. So usual thing, you have to rebuild all the entire wheel wells right underneath. Again, we've got some engine covers going on the inside, gear doors, things like that being fitted down into this one, right the way, as you might imagine, all the way down in there. So again, wing fold section. So it looks like they do have a wing fold mechanism. Now how this is going to work, I'm not sure yet. We'll have to get down in here at the moment, but I do prefer having a working mechanism. The AMK kit and things like that, because they're fixed, the Tamiya one, you know, yes, you can adjust it and make it workable, but it's just nice where you can sweep the wings back, have them forward, just little dioramas, things like that. But again, we'll look at that in a moment. So various things, standard, say back to Hasegawa days about doing the actual intakes, no difference in those, going right the way through, all the way in there for those engine nacelle intakes being sorted out and then them going together. Again, looks like they're a direct push fit right up against them, so hopefully they're going to be a little bit Tamiya-esque and they're going to be fit. Tamiya's way of doing it is just perfect though. Having a nice cover that covers both seams is absolutely a game changer. Unfortunately, not on this kit either. All right, so working our way further down the back, more covers going in, so hopefully they'll all be fine. Engines at the end, the exhaust and things like that, and then obviously all the various parts going in there, those tail planes down the bottom, those being fitted in there. Engines as well, so again, it's not full length engines or anything else like that. It's just obviously with the cans right the way up to the flame holder for the afterburner. Those are being fitted. Nozzle selection, obviously you can have them open or closed depending which one you want to do. Tail hook being fitted, engines being fitted, speed brakes on the back, and then onto the gear. And again, gear, it looks like it's positionable between having it down with the actual arm in the folded down position to go onto the shuttle, or you can have it in the up position depending which one you want to do. All right, main gear being fitted down in there. We've got wheels, we've got a little reference photo again, it's quite nice, and then all the details being added onto the wheels. It looks like wheels are weight on wheels, well hopefully they will be, perhaps they're not actually, but that's one thing you can do yourself, is pop those in. Doors being fitted onto this one, same type of thing as well, right the way through, and then obviously a couple of reference shots of the angles of how you want it all to be laid out and so forth and so on. All right, canopy, again, they giveth with one hand, take away with the other. So it looks like you've got the clasp part is going to go over the framework that we saw, and then that's going to go in. You've got some very little things down in here. This is obviously the demisting and the environmental stuff for the inside of the clear parts. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be fun. All right, then we're obviously onto the front end as well. So we've got some nice bits being fitted down in there. And then obviously on the back, tails being fitted onto it. Horizontal stabilizers being fitted down here at the back. Refueling probe, open or closed, we said that's a nice touch as well. And then obviously you can have the radar with it open or closed as well. So again, another nice touch. Boarding ladder, open or closed. Nicey. We've got a correction down in here for some of the details for the radar and the various bits as well for the seat. So again, keep that safe. Now we're into the interesting bit. So it looks like you can do the wings, obviously in the full open with the spoilers on the top. There's a spoiler system on the Tomcat that comes up, or obviously if it's landing you can have both of them up as well. So we've got those ones all into this, so that's actually quite a nice touch right the way through. Or as you say, you can just have them as normal wings, depending on which version you want to do. Alright, so that's quite nice. And then you've got the option then of having it with the wings sort of up or down, spoilers up or down, or you could do them folded back. Alright, so again, a little bit of a thing. I assume they're interchangeable, so you can slide them on and off. We'll have a look at them in a minute just to see how many we've got, but that's quite nice. Another little bit of photo etch as well, which will just be that leading edge type of gasket on the back here for the bags when those are fitted. So the bags are back here, actually shows you those as well with the inflated and obviously deflated rear bags. Fuel tanks for the belly being fitted down into this one. Couple of side sparrows, couple of side winders, and then obviously we've got the Phoenix missiles as well. That's quite nice. Rails, pallets right the way through, and then pallets and bits being fitted underneath the actual aircraft itself. And again, different types of weapon loadout, whichever one you want to. Detailed diagram, obviously for decals and the various bits and pieces for weapons and your stowage stuff. And then down in here, there's not a million decals on this thing. And everyone says there is, but there isn't in the great scheme of things. It's not like a Phantom. But you will have fun popping all of those in. Looks like they're all individuals. And again, that on the bottom. So, initial thoughts. I'm open-minded, shall we say. The reason I say I'm open-minded is purely because that looks like a lot of work. With modern kits we've been seeing recently, they've sort of simplified it a little bit, but that seems to have made it a little bit complex in some areas. Anyway, gorgeous, full colour. Pull out ones down in here. So Daily Escape, we've got this one down in here for the Reapers. And then we've got the Swordsman over on this side, which is obviously the final cruise markings, which are always very nice. Indeed. Then obviously one of my favourite squadrons, we've got the Diamondbacks. Very nice indeed. And then over on here, as you say, we've got 103s. The Skull and Crossbones, Jolly Rogers. Very nice indeed. Alright, so good. Right, decal wise, so as you might imagine, they were actually printed in China, designed by Galaxy Model. They don't look too bad. So if we just zip in a bit closer, you can have a look. I'll try and catch some light on them. There we go. You can see carry film's not too bad. That's all right. Jolly Rogers, Swordsman down at the bottom. I think they're all okay. And obviously we've got here, we've got the walkways, instruments, and obviously the panels all done down in here. Again, they don't look too bad, quite nice details all the way through. Decals all look pretty darn good. So that's all right. And then last up we've got weaponry. So we've got the armament bands, live bands, things like that, as you might imagine. So we've got your Sidewinders, your Phoenix, and your AIM 7 Sparrows just down in there. Right, we also get, as I said before, a little bit of photo etch, which we'll have a quite quick look in. So that's that tiny pen, which I'll make safe in a moment. Again, we've got a little bit of the old-fashioned acetate, a little film down in there, so that's for your HUDs, very nicely. This is obviously for your radar, and it's really thin. That's a lot thinner than I thought it would be actually. You could do be a bit thicker on this. But obviously it's your radar bits, and then obviously more bits. So a bit of folding work to do down in there. And then again we've got these ones. So these ones down in here which go underneath that plate at the back, which lifts slightly so the wings can fold. Some grills, various bits and pieces down in there, rear mirrors and alike. So we'll just pop those back down in here. And we'll pop the film in. That's it. And we'll pop this little guy in here, and in a minute I will take that. Alright. Okay, so staples. Hate staples. main fuselage area itself looks to be really very nice. Good, sharp, clean, crisp moulding all the way through. All the recesses are literally lovely. Isn't it? It's funny because this looks really small to me because I'm working on 1/24 scale Harrier at the moment, and that's a monster. So this looks like a sort of 72nd scale, but really very, very nice done. All the details you can probably see down in there, very nice as well. The detail inside the actual main gear looks pretty darn good. Very good. Got a little bit of strength of work down at the back here as well for where the engines will be. And again, it's very, very modular. It's very difficult to mould this in one. That's why I wondered if they'd done anything different. To be honest, they haven't. So very nice indeed. So we've got that bit. Right. Just trying to keep this semblance of order somehow. So we've got that. And then where's the top? Here we go. Here's the top. I have to cut the bags because I haven't got time to mess around with staples. So on the top half, again, looking really very, very nice indeed. Good, clean, sharp details all the way through. And again, it's quite nice to see the top of these engines. Not that you're ever going to see it, but hey, they're there. All right, so that's actually really nice. Incredibly crisp, fine panel lining on a par of anybody else's. Down in here on the inside, again, some details that you're thinking, well, I suppose you could open up these panels if you wanted to, but they're there if you wanted to. Again, a little bit weird how they've done it. They've actually got it so you could open up the spine. On a previous kit of mine before, I've opened this up and we've put detailing in, but they've actually got cutout marks all on the underside for doing this type of job. So if you did want to go a little bit to town on this kit, actually it's going to make your life a lot easier because you can cut from the inside instead of the outside, and you can just follow those details right the way through. But generally, as you can see, very, very nice indeed. All right, so right now I think we're just going to dive in because I can't see a real semblance to do this. So what we've got just down in here, we've got a couple of the pallets, and again, being a bit careful. So pallets for the Phoenix missiles underneath, or in later life, obviously it's a B, you could put bombs on it as well. Funny because I didn't actually see a lantern pod for this, and obviously lantern was what was fitted to the B, so that's a bit different. Anyway, pallets look nice. Fuselage halves, again, really very nice. The boarding area, so there's no open area for the gun or anything else like that, so they're not showing off the gun. Obviously stowage ladders open, various things, but you do get the refueling probe area, looks quite nice. Down on the underside, we've got the recesses down there for the sparrows, which obviously covered by your pallets, depending which weapon loadout you're doing. So there's that nose section underplug that goes through, which just corrects the right holes and bays as well for the B variant. And again, we've got this little guy, which I'm not quite sure what that is, but there we go. Okay, right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally work through these as best I can because there's just so much of it. So again, down in here, sprue D, you can see we've got the gear, we've got all the small little parts as well that make up the gear. Lots and lots of detail. So as you can see over here, we've actually got it in the launch position with the arm down, or we've got the arm retracted up, obviously nose up as well. So this is the bit where it's kneeling. The actual Tomcat drops its strut, kneels down, hooks on the front, gets yanked off the front of the boat, all right? Or you've got the normal version just down in there. And again, as you can see, lots of detailed parts making up that all-important gear. Okay, so, right, slightly bigger sprue. So, huge big sprue. So we've got cockpits down in here, very modular, and then we've got all the other bulkheads and the various details. To be honest, it's highly detailed. It's a little bit of a leg up from the Tamiya kit, if I'm honest. It looks very, very nice indeed. So if we move around in here, obviously we've got the nose, we've actually got the main gear underside, we've got the top areas down in here with the latches and everything as well for the actual canopy. Got the canopy itself, looks quite nice. Down in here, obviously this is for the hook at the back. The cockpit, as you can see, generic cockpit. So we're imagining obviously we are going to see A and D versions coming down the line with the subtle changes that those have. And then down in here is really nice because you might notice we've actually got all the circuit breakers on the back down in there for the Rio. For all his gubbins behind him and the other bulkhead behind the pilot. Back of the radar as well for the OG9, looking very nice indeed. And then down on here on the bottom, we've got all the various parts for the actual wheel well. And again, lots of detailing all the way around all of those. Down here, we've actually got the refueling probe, which actually looks quite nice, refueling probe cover. This is a monster. So this here is actually your wing spar, which is probably just like the real thing. They've actually moulded it as it would be. So looking at it, yeah, it looks strong and very beefy. It's going to make sure that the wings hopefully don't have too much flex and sag on them. So they know they do flex and sag a little bit, but that would definitely hold that up. I haven't seen that way of doing it before because it obviously looks like it's a movable part. So again, very, very nice indeed. Then we are down into the intakes, various bits and pieces, as you can see just down in here. That looks all very nice, good, clean, crisp all the way through. I can't see any short shots, I can't see any flash. It's actually just generally really very, very nice indeed. And again, there's the other part for these wings. So that's going to interlock in between all of those with a nice big pin, I assume. That's going to go right the way through that and hold that. We've got these areas down in here. The covers are slightly different with different versions of the Tomcat from the A through D. So that's why those are done. And again, various doors, intakes, the detail inside down in here of the actual speed brake. Both sides, very nicely done. And the insides of the speed brakes as well, very nicely done with those. Speaking of which, we've got no ejector pins as far as I can see. Maybe one in the actual doors, maybe just got that one just down in there, but it's so shallow and very fine. I think that's not going to be a problem. I wouldn't worry about it. So that all looks very, very nice indeed. No ejector pins inside the actual intakes, so that's another nice sign as well. So again, good, clean, crisp, sharp moulding all the way through. Right, that's the last of the big screws. So down in here, we've got the area that goes over the top of the folded wings. Obviously, you've got that photo etch is going to go underneath with it, which is very nice indeed. So you can see, nice detail. What's really nice though, we got the bag. So as you can see, it's deflated. These are pneumatic and they blow up. So the wings swept forward, they actually inflate and fill the void behind the wings. So really, really nice that. Some nice detail. I haven't seen it like that before. Again, inlet ramps, beautifully done, nicely detailed, got the hinge join marks and everything all in those, so that's good. Okay, wings itself, so this is where your spoilers are. This is your actuators for underneath the spoilers, and you can probably see really very, very nicely detailed. So if you have got all the spoilers up along here, you've got nice detail below it. It's not just a void or just nothing there. That's actually very, very nice indeed with that one. So again, and again, just looking at the moulding, the ejector pins on this, they're either flush or they're just slightly recessed, so they're going to be tucked out of the way. Nothing's fouling, nothing's interfering or anything else like that. So that's actually very nice indeed. Speaking of the wings themselves, so we do get two wings, so that's quite nice. So you can actually do it then with both wings and then take your pick of which one you want. So this is the one with obviously everything out and deployed and various things. You can see you got all your nice details onto that. Good strengthening on the insides as well. This is where that wing spar is going to fit in, so you can just slide it in and out as you like, so it's totally interchangeable, which is very nice indeed. Very welcome. All right, and then obviously we've got the other version over here with your various bits and parts. So you've got your front slats down in here, which are moulded in one, which actually has got the right curve on it by the looks of it. Looks pretty good to me. And you've got your other parts. So that's good. So I don't know if it is actually interchangeable because we haven't got enough for it, unfortunately. So I'm saying it's interchangeable. I don't think it is. I think you're going to have to make your decision onto it because you're one bit missing unless I haven't seen it. We'll check that in a moment on the next one. So this is your other bag with all your wing bits in it. So again, as you can see, just down in here, this is trailing edge deployed. It's quite nice. Bags, obviously inflated now, so obviously not quite as wrinkly. But generally, you can see, really very nice detail right the way through. Yeah, looking at it, you're not going to be able to swap them out. You're going to have to make your choices, I'm afraid. And again, slightly different at the back this, because it'll be slightly raised. Most of the companies don't bother. They just slide in, but they've obviously done it twice. And again, very, very nice. Good, clean, sharp details all the way through. Looks to be a bit of a handful, doesn't it? This kit is going to keep you busy, I mean, forever. Because let's face it, Tomcats are not straightforward, especially building the Hobby Boss one. That's pretty straightforward. Everybody else's is a handful. Slide moulding, yay! I must admit, it would have been nicer to see it on something like a Phoenix missile and sparrows and things, but hey. But generally, that's actually not too bad at all. Good, clean, crisp. You are going to have to open up the holes, obviously in the bottom there, if you want to do it with the actual fuel tank on it, for the drop tanks. But yeah, first bit of slide moulding we've seen. And to be honest, it's on a bit that probably doesn't really need it. Okay, so tailplanes. Tailplanes and nozzles. And we've got some lumps and bumps for the receivers. And again, tails for the B. There it is, very nice indeed, that's nice. Lumps and bumps for the radar warning receivers. Go underneath the leading edge of the wings. Tails for the exhausts, obviously it's for the B engine. Very similar to the D. Looks pretty darn good. Obviously you've got the chicken handle just down in here for the rear cockpit, and obviously the stick. That's actually quite nice indeed. Put those in there, keep those safe. Alright, so where are we? This is the gift that keeps giving, I can tell you. You certainly get your money's worth with this kit. Okay, so we've got twin matching sprues just down in here. These are both exactly identical. So again, looking quite nice. Tailplanes. So it's a little bit of an infill fillet, so that looks quite nice. All pretty clean. Nozzles. We don't get weight on wheels, or do we? Can't work that out. Yeah, we do get weight on wheels, just about. It's not that pronounced, but it's definitely got a little bit of a bulge onto it. And again, wheel hubs, nose wheel section as well. Same on the other one. So obviously we've got two lots of those, just like that. Right, where are we going with all of this? It just seems that we keep going and going. We've got bags and bags left still here. Okay, so tiny, delicate parts. As you can see, we've got all your various little bits down in here for hosing and other little tiny things. Again, very delicate parts. So there we go, on sprue F. All your little detail parts right the way through. Just take your time getting them all off the sprue, because otherwise you are going to snap them. Good pair of cutters are required. Okay, right, where are we going to go? Seats. So twin pack, exactly the same, one another on here. And we've actually got the seats. Again, looking really nice actually. Pretty darn good, no problem at all. Multi-part ejector seat down in there. Overhead handles look nice. Yeah, got your sticks. Again, yeah, really. So we've actually got the control column. Oh no, it is, sorry. I was going to say, I don't know what the little knobule is on the top. I assume that's supposed to be the weapon selector pull trigger, but it just looks a bit over the top to me. So yes, that's all right. Very nice indeed. So obviously match pair with those two, front and rear, as you might imagine. So you probably will have a few spars, like a control grip. Okay, so down in here we've got the bits for the engine. So this is the flame holder for the afterburner. And again, dual for everything. So we've got some Sidewinder back ends. Again, Jesus, that's the Sidewinder. So you've got to put your entire Sidewinder together. You know, you could have its big brother. This is my 24th scale 3D printed one, which is a lot easier because it is completely in one piece, so you don't have to put it together. Just saying, because that's just a pain having to stick all that together. But there we go. And also we've got twins for the actual flame holder and the back end of the engine. Again, very nicely. So we've got inlet, flame holder, obviously rear and intake. So very nice indeed. Again, just being very careful with those Sidewinders because they look like they could break off the sprue if you was to catch them in the wrong way or look at them badly. Okay, what else we got? Speaking of engines, we've got the actual exhaust itself. So again, twin, two of these. So as you can see, we've got the actual nozzle closed, or we've got it fully opened, and obviously the details in between, which actually doesn't look too bad at all. That looks very nice. So very good with that one. And then we've got, again, let's just keep, so obviously this is going to be specific to the B model, because down in here, say sprue S, we've got the gun with the gun vents for the B, we've got the nose system on the B as well, and then obviously we've got the doors and various things for the actual instrument itself. So obviously got the slightly bigger screens being the B down here at the front, and obviously the round one obviously moved over to the D with the square one in the rear as well. Obviously the instrument panel tops, various bits and pieces down in there just like that. So obviously this one's purely for the actual B system, I would have thought. So again, very nice indeed. I won't get this one out because again you can just see it. So sparrows, for some reason you get 6, which I suppose you could do it in murder loadout as well, stick 6 on it. So yeah, very nice. The Phoenix missiles, again, I won't bother getting these out because you can see it, but they are completely multi-part, which to me seems absolutely overkill to put that lot together. So yeah, all right, same with the fuel tank. So again, match pair down in there, and we've got the rails with the cooler bottles on the front and various bits as well. So all set, pretty darn good. And then down in here, so we do get both types. So one, I imagine, is the early one. This is probably going to be the later for the B, because this is what we're talking about. So this is the rear weapons officer in the back's got the big screen, and then the pilot's got the 2 at the front. So I imagine this one here is for the B. And obviously you could probably fudge it with the D as well. So yeah, as I say, I'm not up too much on my F-14 rear screens and all the rest of it, but there we go. So I know some of the Bs obviously have the square one at the back, some of them have the round one, so take your pick with that one. We've also got the launch rails as well for the Phoenix missiles, and again it's designating both of these here, so you can do it as a 54C or the A, depending which one you want to do. And then finally we are getting there. It's coming to the end, everybody, don't panic. But we've got this little guy down in here, which I won't get out because it looks incredibly delicate, but this is the rear combing for the rear instrument panel, and we've got the boarding ladders because it's like a foldy system down in there as well, so we'll keep them nice and safe. All right, last up in our little bag of tricks down in here, we have the clear parts. So we've got this little guy, which is literally just the framing work, which looks quite nice, but my worry is you've got to get the clear parts, which we will have a look at, to go over this, because again, as you can probably see on here, it's got no edging. You're going to go right to the edging, so you'll probably glue front and rear and leave those just in case it makes a little bit of a mess, which is ridiculous because that one makes it an awkward nightmare. This is the best thing ever because it's got the nice long front nose on this, so again, any seam lines and stuff you can take care of, blend them, sand them, whatever you need to do with no problem at all. And again, very, very nice way of doing it. But why they've done the canopy like that is a little bit anyone's guess. And again, nav lights, all usual thing, tarps pod, and all of those parts in there, just like that. And there you have it. Wow, it's a kit that keeps giving, because seriously, I've got to try and get this all back in the box in a minute. As you can see, it's a ton of plastic. It's going to be a ton of work. This isn't going to be a shake and bake kit. It's definitely a lot more detailed, I would say, than even the Tamiya one. Purely though, the Tamiya one, I built it. It's a great kit, goes together well, but it hasn't got the detail that this one's got all the way going through it. There's some nice touches I like about this kit. I like the way the wing system actually goes together. It would be nice, for the sake of another little bit of plastic, to have an option to take the wings and just pop them on and off if you wanted it in which way. But then I suppose, you know, you could say about the gear and all the rest of it. But so that's quite nice. I don't like that canopy fit. I don't like the way the Phoenix missile's in 20 pieces, and I think it's just a little bit overcomplicated in some areas. I was hoping that this would have been a little bit more slide molded, so perhaps we would have seen things like the wheel wells and everything all done in one and all the bits and pieces ready to go. It's not. I get it. It's complex shape, complexities of injection molding, stuff like that. So that's the reason they've done it. What the nice thing is, though, what they have done, they've done really well, and the detail is all there in that kit. If you have one of the guys, definitely on pre-order, who's ordered one of these, that's going to keep you going a long while. But what you are going to get at the end of it is actually a really, really nice, highly detailed Tomcat. And I think if, as far as detail goes, that's probably king of the hill right now. Tamiya one's somewhat behind it, and then obviously, you know, bang for buck and all the rest of it, you've got the AMK one, which is absolutely gorgeous as well. But definitely that's the most detailed F-14 kit I've ever seen. So anyway, I would say if you're an F-14 fan, which everybody is apart from Mr. Matt Bull, then you're going to want to go out and get this kit. As I said, it's a little bit cheaper here in the UK. The importer managed to get them at a really good price with extra discount, which we've passed on. So if you do want to get one of these, even if it's just going to sit in your stash, it's well worth doing it right now, because it is an absolute legend of an aircraft, and now as a kit as well.